We now have the 3-year-olds. Now, especially now that the lockdown is lifting on the 9th, and the government has quietly signaled, not in an official capacity, but quietly signaled on Friday they would start reopening the economy, except for 3 jurisdictions that still have quite a lot of hotspots. I feel bad for the people of Toronto, Peel, and York regions here in Ontario. That's the Toronto area, the GTA. They're not going to lift. It looks like their lockdown is going to continue for another 2 weeks, which is so frustrating. But it is what it is. Here in the Halton region, it looks like the lockdown will be over Tuesday. What does that mean? Do we go back to a color-coded diagram of the province and say, okay, you're in red, orange, green, whatever, yellow? I don't know what the hell they are, but the optimistic Anthony would say by Thursday we could probably get into Mohawk to train. By next Thursday we should be racing, and I hope that is it. I would expect that February the 25th we'll be back racing at Mohawk, Woodbine Park. Keep in mind, I'm not with management or decision makers of Woodbine Mohawk Park, Ontario Racing, the government, or any otherwise. But I would think, I know that Jim Lawson has signaled the intent to get back to racing as soon as we can. So if the lockdown's over, if we're going to go back to those color-coded sections, then I would suspect a week from Thursday, Woodbine Mohawk Park will be back up and racing. So let's get right to it. I know there's a few changes, some things to comment about in regards to the 3-year-olds. Adrenaline Rush, training back good. Again, we're still looking, a lot of these dates of starting haven't changed because of the lockdown. We've been training them back. So Adrenaline Rush, I'm assuming, will be around 1st of April. He'll be ready to go. Barbie's Crown is imminent. I can tell you this, Steve. Now, obviously, this is to 2 people. Steve and I own Barbie's Crown. Barbie's Crown has put on some weight, put on some muscle. I suspect we're going to look at either going right into racing her, or she probably only needs 1 good training trip, and then she can go to the track. Better's Hope, Amy just told me she was talking to the people in Shedrow 10, I suspect Mike and Georgia, and they said that Better's Hope was training down very, very well. Good. I can't specifically say that I saw him on the track training fast, but again, you're looking at an April 1st, somewhere around there, start date for Better's Hope. Blue Monk, again, ready to rock. I know Kevin's been in the bike a number of times with him. We'll see how he is. Braemar trained very good yesterday. 1.5 miles last half, around 17 or 18. So we'll stiffen him up with a couple of good 1.5 milers both Wednesday and Saturday. Maybe after that we'll put him in the bike. What I'm aiming for is not the first series at the Meadows, but the second one, the 3-year-old grouping, not the 3 and 4-year-old grouping. One My Heart Hanover and Frilly Fringes will race in the trotting side. Then the second series will be Captain's Maid, Braemar, One My Heart Hanover, Frilly Fringes, and Aglaire AM will join them at that point. So that's what we're looking at coming up for the Pennsylvania horses. Braemar will be ready to go mid to end March for sure, maybe a little bit before then. Brilliant Corners trained well this week, I'm told. He's, again, looking at, he might be a little earlier, so I'm going to say mid-March, maybe earlier for Brilliant Corners. We'll see what Harry says. He's been training him down. Broadway Roll has been ready, and I kept asking everybody, just please take a breath and hold on. I'm looking for London and Flamborough, because if she goes to Northfield and she's no good, she's not coming back. And we've lost a lot of soldiers this year because they just weren't attuned to racing either on a half-mile track where it came to Zeb or Watch Avenue, or they just weren't good enough where we tried Cambridge Star at the Meadows. That wasn't going to work. So I've just been cautioning everybody, especially when it comes to like Broadway Roll and Italian Grit. They will do in Ontario. Take your time, we'll get there. Broadway Roll, Camp Muscle Me's been ready to go, so I suspect 1 good training trip, and then she's ready to go to qualify. I trained her in 2.4 before the lockdown, so she's been ready. Captain's Maid trained in 2.12 this week. She'll be ready to go March 1st, I would say, or just before. Cut the Line continues ready to, 1 good training trip, they're ready to go. First Glance, we'll probably be ready in a month. Fox Valley Britska raced great last week. Finished 5th, but this is a horse that hadn't raced in, 5-6 weeks. And Aaron just took him back, raced him from off the pace, passed horses. Just ran out of steam down the lane, but he's just short, right? Trained him 1 time, hard, twice maybe. But I was really happy with what I saw from Fox Valley Britska. Frilly Fringes qualified well. She's got the rail Wednesday for Dave Pallone at the Meadows. Girls with Swirls is ready to go. I saw her train yesterday. Again, 1 stiff training trip and into the qualifiers they go. Gray is the new red, trained good. Now we'll talk about the Ohio breds in the same. They've all been. I know Jason came a good last half with my Jazz, so I suspect all of them were pushed a little bit. I know Jason's plan is for a move to Ohio, first part of March, mid-March qualifiers, April 1st, ready to go for the Hackett. That's the plan for the vast majority. Now, that plan does not include Rose Run, Why Not, and Miss Meringue, because they had some issues. They're going to need a couple of more weeks in the pool just to relax. So actually 3 weeks in stall, 3 weeks in the pool. They'll be ready for the stakes, but they won't be ready for the Hackett. Now we have, where are we at? GW Chrome, same as Gray as the new red. Been training a mile and a half, looked really, really good. I don't think he's going to need the hobbles this year, this horse. I hope not, but I don't think he will. Holy Chick was ready to go, continues to be ready to go. I suspect we'll train her up once and put her into race in a maiden, Flamborough or London, I would assume. Eglaire AM trained good yesterday. We're looking for that second series in Pennsylvania for her. I'm a Lovely Lady looked good. She trained with Gray as a new red yesterday. I thought they both looked really, really good. She's on track to be ready. Italian Grit's been ready to go for a while, and I know Tom, my partner on the horse, has been pushing me. When's she ready? When's he going to go to the States? When's he going to go to the States? I don't really want to send him to the States just yet. I'd like to get a couple of starts in London, Flamborough, and I know we've all been waiting and waiting and waiting, but at the same time, we can't. We're near the end of the tunnel now. Rushing to judgment or making decisions on what we want rather than what's best for the horse is probably not best for him or you or us. So Italian Grit we're going to hope to have ready for London, Flamborough as soon as they drop. Jazzy Judy will begin swimming probably the 20th of February, I suspect, so in another 10 days. We'll ask Jimmy to bring her back in and start swimming her. Keystone Raven, one good training trip, then we'll start qualifying her. She hasn't seen the gate yet, so maybe a schooler and then a qualifier, and then we'll get a better look at her. Let's Roll On. We sold Let's Roll On after his qualifier. Now, he was in the sale on Monday, but at the same time, he did qualify well. We were able to sell him. So Rolly is out. He's out. Miss Meringue, 3 weeks stall rest, 3 weeks swimming, as I said, same as Rose Run, Why Not? And then they will join the herd at Northfield Park. Mamano's Best trained good yesterday. My Jazz trained good yesterday. Both of them are going. No Free Lunch has been training down good. Mid-March, I suspect. First part of April for him. Northern Blizzard, they've just been putting slow miles into him. He trained all right on Friday. We don't have the hobbles back on him yet, but we will soon enough. We got Off-Road Hanover. Now, Off-Road Hanover was good his first two starts. Then he touched his elbow in his second start, so they put elbow boots on him. I talked to Aaron Merriman about him. He said that he wouldn't pick the bit up with those boots on. They just kind of bothered him, annoyed him. So I'm going to talk to Billy today about maybe just 3 days before he races, lowering his angles. I think if we keep his toes short and his angles low and he can trot like that, sometimes you take toe off trotters that get pacey. But if we can lower him and keep his toes short, we should be able to keep him out of his elbow. So I'm going to talk to him about that today, ask him what he thinks. Perfect Record is getting closer. I think we'll probably just bring him over the track, go mile and 2.5 as soon as Mohawk opens, and then make a decision where we're going with him. Where are we at next? Rose Run, Why Not? Same as Miss Meringue, 3 weeks in stall, 3 weeks in the pool. They're already a week into the stall rest, another 2 weeks, then they go to the pool. And that's for no particular reason, just there was some inconsistencies found in their knees, so their knees are still open and a little reactive right now. That's just maturity. And then in the case of this filly, her pastern behind, little reactive also. No cracks, no lines, no fractures, but she said careful. So a little, what the vet would call a shadow. I'm not really concerned about it, but 3 weeks in stall, 3 weeks in the pool, and she figures they'll be fine. Set the Mood is in the sale, leaving tomorrow for the sale on Tuesday. Cyrus Blue Chip looks sounder on the track. I don't believe he started training yet, but I believe he probably will over the next week or so. I could be wrong, even if he's trained. It's just slow miles to this point. So Admirable is really ready to go also. I think Kevin will probably just take her to Mohawk, train her a couple of trips, and then we will get her into qualify. Stacy Hanover. Stacy looks good, but they say the day after she trains, she gets a little pacey on the track. Is that her stifles bothering her a little bit? Something else bothering her? Probably going to have her up to the vet to get checked, just to make sure. This is a filly. Keep in mind, we forget because a year has gone by, but this is a filly that we paid a lot of money for, and a horse that I have high expectations for. She's well-bred. She looks good. Looks real good. So I want to make sure I take care of her. I'll probably slide her up to the vet, make sure everything's okay with old Stace this week. Sweet Ambitions, ready to go. Probably, as I said, a trip into her, then we'll qualify her, race her, and see what we got. She'll likely end up in Pennsylvania racing in the maiden, and if she's not good enough, we'll race her a couple of times and likely sell her. I know my father, Freddie, has been looking to buy and retain Sweet Ambitions. He's got it in his head that she'd be a wonderful broodmare. It's hard enough to argue with Freddie McDonald, him just being Freddie McDonald, but being my father just adds to that argument. So we'll see. I'm not really high on, I'm not breeding Sweet Ambitions, but I just assume race her and sell her. But we'll see how that plays out. A horse that surprised the hell out of me yesterday. This is of note for my partner Charlie on Tanzanite Tricks. Yesterday it was cold, it was windy, and whatever mile, short or otherwise, you could go with a horse that was even reasonable was a pretty good mile. It was so cold, so windy, track was icy and snowy. Tanzanite Tricks 2.5. I trained her by herself yesterday in the race bike. Now, she may be not even ready to go in 2.5, but she did, so maybe she doesn't like too much training because she came in and couldn't blow a match out, looked great. That was a good mile for her. So we'll probably train her at Mohawk, or I might just put her in to qualify. We'll see, but from what I saw yesterday, she's ready to go. That's my girl's back jogging now. She'll be a ways getting her ready. She won't be ready till April. Tipsy and Dixie's been training down. Looks good again. A lot of these Ontario breds, mid-March, first part of April is when they'll be ready. Walk on the Moon again. Although he had lots of time off, he's been jogging back, looking good, training slow. He'll be ready again first part of April-ish. Warwie Was Up looks great on the track. I suspect he'll even be ready for the 1st of April. Warwie Welcome's ready right now. She's trained a number of times at the farm. I think she's been in 2.6. Probably take her over, train her one good mile, school her, and then get her in to qualify. Well and Down's heading to Ohio with Jason. She looks good on the track, is training very, very good. And then Won My Heart Hanover had a great start to her career. Those 2/4, she had a first and a second. Those 2/4, she probably both of them she could have won. So we gave her a couple of weeks off. Don't want to get too many starts into this filly for 2021. She's going to have 6 starts for these series. So add that to the 4 she has already. That's 10 starts to start off for 2021 season, or sophomore season. So don't want to be too hard on her. Give her a couple weeks off. We'll train her up a little bit. We didn't turn her out. We just light jogging for 2 weeks. Then we'll spark her back up and have her ready to go for that first series in the Meadows. So that's the 3-year-olds. Now you guys are all caught up. You know exactly what's going on with everyone. So, talk to you guys soon. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you're staying safe and healthy and out of the cold, because it's frigid here. Oof. Take care.